I've cooked on the weirdest contraptions because I grew up cooking on the road.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Just
like
figuring it out.
Just fake, dude.
Yeah, man.
My uncle, when I was a kid, I didn't tell you this. So I grew up in Florida. We both did, you know, and fishing was such a part of my culture growing up. My family's all from Georgia and talks like this. So they moved to Florida, and I was born in Florida, but fishing was our thing. And we would catch all these mullet, like bigger than a finger mullet. I don't know what the scientific. We are poor people, you know. So my uncle,
You caught fish.
we caught these mullet.
You got dinner.
We caught these mullet, and we would take the electronics out of a refrigerator, and then take the coils off the back, and pipe smoke into refrigerators to smoke fish.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, dog.
Sick.
So that was my like.
That's dope.
You would
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
You would
Was
love
like a cold smoke, basically.
it. That's the vibe.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the vibe for the fish,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't really want to.
People do that in filing cabinets.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do
Yep.
that in like an igloo cooler, like drill
Yep.
a hole, same idea.
So I, you know, similarly, like, grew up playing music, doing the whole thing, but that was what I'm really interested in is
That's
food.
so dope.
Well, before we get to, are we rolling, by the way, before we get too like deep?
It's been 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance.
Well, dudes, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having
thank you
us.
Stoked to
guys.
be here. Been
Welcome
looking
in.
forward to it, man.
Yeah, us as well. And like I said, I've found your band probably 20 years ago ish, and there aren't a lot of bands, especially from in that genre or in that era, that are still doing it today. And like I just looked this morning, I was re-listening to your guys' new album, and you have millions of monthly listeners on Spotify, and that's insane.
go.
Try not to.
Yeah.
look.
Let's
Well,
go.
sorry for letting you in on that.
up, dude.
It will,
That's sick.
it will. But for
For
me,
sure.
it made me proud of my youth, because back then there was no way that a million people would ever hear a band that I liked when I was in, like the kind of music that I was into. And so I would, this whole thing is about sort of like the idea of sort of not giving up. And you guys have been, how many years now have you guys been a band?
I've been in the band for 24 years.
I mean,
Aaron was in there 2 or 3 years before. There was like 2 EPs and a tour that happened before I joined.
yeah, it was essentially like a local band, and then Tim joined, and we started touring full time in 2003.
Holy
so-
hell.
So like
Yeah.
like local high school band for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then it's the only band I've ever been in. That's a lie. I played for a different band when our band was broken up. But yeah, yeah.
But like the idea that how did you, the idea that you went from a local high school band to now, 27 years later, still having that band that can afford to take you guys around the world and see all these things. How did
Yeah.
you how did you both get in, like, how'd you get into music? How did you start the band? How did you even, like, what's the origin story?
I mean, for me, we were talking about this yesterday a bit, but like everyone has like their heroes. Like, oh, I grew up on Zeppelin. My dad loved the Beatles. I grew up in a very, very conservative Christian home to where we were not allowed to listen to any secular music. So I had no DNA. I had no culture. So then I started going to local hardcore shows. Underoath was a local band. So I got in the band because my band played with them. They were headlining, their van broke down. I'm sound checking, play one of their riffs. At the end of the show, he comes up and he's like, "Was that you earlier playing the last?" I was like, "Yeah." Didn't realize that they had arrived right as I was checking my guitar and their guitar player was leaving. And again, it's like we're all 17, 18. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. He's like, "You want to join our band?" I'm like, "I would love to."
Sick.
So tried out.
Perfect timing.
And
basically.
literally spent a whole week learning death metal.
Yeah.
I've been playing guitar for 16 months, like not proficient at all.
Natural talent.
And just sat down for a whole week, cleared my schedule, picked it out. There's no internet, there's no tabs.
I'd
Yeah,
love to
yeah.
see
Yeah.
your fucking schedule.
So I'm literally just fingering around, like, what tuning is it in? Went, tried out,
Wild.
and then they were like, "Yeah, we have a couple other guys, but that went well. So if you want the spot, we'll just call everyone else off." And that's how I got in on accident.
What kind of music were you playing? Because you made it a point to say you were learning death metal. What kind of music were you playing prior?
I really wanted to be in like a Jimmy Eat World, Blink-ish, like power chord pop punk thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a band called Morning Sun with a U.
Oh fuck yeah.
God, so embarrassing. And yeah, my first restaurant was terrible.
No
And,
one could eat there.
Yeah, nobody wanted to eat there. But yeah, it was just a weird, like, kind of like, not Creed, but like hum.
It was not like
bar chord.
Creed is a wild comparison.
Yeah,
From
it
Jimmy Eat
wasn't
World
that.
to Creed.
Yeah, no,
Dude.
I'm saying it's not Creed, but it was more in like just like bar chords.
Yeah.
And then he bumps into me. He's like, "Do you want to try out for my band?" And now I'm learning like, you know, like all the
It was like metalcore.
like
Yeah.
death metal.
it was like heavy. It was real metalcore.
not even metalcore. It was like more metal.
More metalcore, but real metal leaning at the time because the first guitar player, he was really into all that like black metal and like European
Chainmail.
And I literally
Yeah.
was like into Jimmy Eat World and Nirvana. Do you know what I mean? And then he came along and sort of absolved me in a way because I was like, I had much like he had to learn in the 16 months how to, or in the week how to play all the bullshit. Like I was growing as a musician and had to like, I had never heard some of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, my story, my origin story with the band is much like him. I grew up super Christian home, couldn't listen to this. Where did the word secular come from?
I don't know. It's just called stuff now.
Somebody Merriam-Webster that shit. 'Cause
We are on a secular podcast, and my mom's gonna be mad at me.
it was a whole thing. I mean, and people would apply
Really?
that adjective to like, oh yeah, that's a secular business.
Oh wow.
Like everything, you know, growing up in the South in the
It's pretty
late,
wild.
in the late 80s, early 90s, like the Jesus belt of it all was like everything I didn't know anybody that wasn't a Christian until I was 14 or 15 years old.
it was deep.
I didn't know anybody,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucking
but not the cool kind of Christian.
No.
Like, Christians are cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But
the way we grew up, it was not cool.
like
Not-
very restrictive.
Like, we don't watch Shrek because it's about magic and there's spells.
dude. My dream was.
I didn't even know that was a level of Christianity.
Dude, my
Oh,
dream.
brother.
My
Never-
dream.
No Beavis and Butthead, no Simpsons, all of it.
wow.
Nothing.
I was just about to say my dream was to have a fucking Bart Simpson's watch. And my mom snuck and got it for me. And it was like she was giving me a kilo of Colombian Bam Bam. Like, it was like. Anyway, so I played drums in church from a young age, you know, and crazy spiritual stuff was going on. A guy said to me one time, the Lord told me you're going to travel the world and play music.
Damn.
Which came true, which I still deal with understanding now. Anyway, that's a different podcast. But
Yeah, yeah.
this guy saw me playing drums in church, and his son was starting a band called Underoath. And this is a week after that guy said that to me. And my phone rang at my parents' house, and I was mowing the grass. And I came inside, and my mom goes, "There's a message for you." And it was this kid saying, "We're starting a band." And I was 15, and they picked me up the next day, and we drove 2 hours to a different city. Which
Whoa.
now thinking about, I have a son that's about a year and a half younger than I was when that happened, and there's no fucking way. Like I would rather like cut my big toe off than let him go do that. But
Just jump in a van and
we started
go for
writing
it.
songs, and it was a local regional band type deal, and I kind of hated the music. If I'm honest, I've never said that before. It's so fucked up. I'm like a melodic person in music, and I like heavy music, but I need some bread with that wine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'm a
low
little bit.
substance.
I'm a little bit of that guy. You know what I'm saying? And it just grew into what it is now. And when Tim joined, it was really the linchpin of like. Tim liked melody too, and he liked chordal structures, and he was like. And it kind of opened us, like I said, it was a little bit of an absolution for me where I was like, oh, now I have a partner in crime in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
What did your parents think about it all
I
in the
don't know.
beginning?
If I'm honest, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
my mom is like,
Well, if you told them it was a Christian band you were joining,
It was
they probably really, supported that, right?
it was support. My parents supported me off rip, but my
Yeah.
parents were also in like a loveless marriage where they slept in separate beds for 25 years. So I felt like that was the giant elephant in the room at all times. They stayed together for God and for the kids and for all, and they finally got divorced when I was 18. Like, it was a fucking slog for like,
Wow.
they were married for 30 years and slept in separate beds for 25 of them. Do you know what I mean? So there was no, I I always felt priority to my mother. I don't know my father. I don't know him then or now. And this is not about that. I'm not trying to get y'all to be like, oh, sorry, brother. But the what I'm saying is like, when big things happen, and now that I'm in my 40s with my own 2 children and my own marriage, if that union is broken and there's distrust, mistrust, and there's all that stuff there, it's kind of hard to like do anything else in the home. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is, I mean, you know what I mean? Like you and I were talking about what our kids eat the other night. And it was real simple for us to do because our marriages are dialed.
And we talk about this too because we had kids a month apart from each other, our firsts. And,
Really?
Yeah.
Timed it out.
How many do you have?
Just
One. Both have one. Yeah. But I realized, so I've been married to Margarita now for 13 years. And we've owned restaurants together for 12 and a half years. And as soon as we had our daughter, I recognized immediately why people get divorced when they have a kid.
Yep.
And
It's challenging.
if you don't have, I always had thought, if you don't have an incredibly deep foundation for your relationship, the stakes become so high as soon as you have a young child that everything is life or death, and that foundation that maybe doesn't exist or isn't strong enough can crack immediately.
Yeah.
And so I never thought about faith could be something that holds that together. And that's kind of cool to
It
hear.
is.
It's something that holds it together, but it's also
It's something that pimps you out too. Like you
Yes.
have to know the difference. You know what I mean? Like faith. I think as soon as there's no religion on earth, we're a worse species. You know? And I don't have a cart and a horse and a race to talk about, but the idea, like just the axiom of I'm not alone, I'm also not that important, and I'm also not in control, and there's something big and beautiful that's looking out for me and all my friends. Just that. Pray, even if it doesn't matter, praying, all that stuff, psychologically changes the way you can deal with trauma and things.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. On the flip side, don't stay in a marriage
It can
for
lock you
25
into- it can
years
lock you into
because
things
you're
that you
afraid of
shouldn't
going
be
to
in.
hell.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Well, is it because you're afraid of going to hell, or is it because
I think there's
I
more of
made
a
a commitment and this is what I'm supposed to do?
I don't even think I think it's neither.
It's all of it. It's yes, 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 and then it just
And
continues
it's
to pile
culturally-
on.
guilt, the this, the that.
Culturally is the
the
biggest
shame.
thing.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah,
inside
the
of
shame.
if you're inside of a culture of, like I said, our whole lives are based around Christian things, right? So like that's your community, the people at church, like those are your family in a way. So if you get a divorce
Everybody
and
knows.
you've got spread apart kids
Oh,
and
brother.
shit, I mean, you might as well get like slut and whore and beggar painted on your forehead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a really weird thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Not good. For everything good that Christianity does, there's an equal, if not opposite, bad thing that happens. You know what I mean?
I just don't think organized religion is good. I think spirituality is good. I have deep beliefs, and I believe many of the same things I grew up believing. I just don't think whenever you monetize it, you're fucked. Like,
Yeah.
just
With everything, anything.
Yeah, but even more with matters of the heart.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like I think that like you guys make this burger that is the best fucking burger I've ever had. I will pay for that burger. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You know what I mean? Like if it was $30, I'd buy it. You know what I mean? But if I say, hey man, I know you need help and I know you're struggling. I know you need this or that, and you can come here for free. But at the end of the day, we're gonna ask for 10% of your earnings.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's really hard to quantify. You know?
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's like I have the right to buy an NADC burger. But what if you told me I might go to hell and the reason why I didn't get a promotion is because I didn't buy enough burgers from you last week?
Yeah, that's weird.
Like
That's
that's,
right.
the shit that we deal with. Like
That
I
shit is
literally have a
wild.
friend who thinks that he wasn't getting where he needed to be because he didn't have enough faith and he wasn't giving enough. Like literally people can be manipulated to where it's like, oh, you forgot to tithe. That's why your tire went flat, which is why you missed the interview, which is why you didn't get the promotion. And now God's punishing me because I didn't do the things that are easily spelled out by my pastor and this and that.
Yeah.
None of us do that shit at all anymore.
Yeah, I mean the idea of you know, treat your neighbor correctly. Don't like all of those like ideals and moralities are important. And without it, like to your point when you said that the world would be a worse place without any religion, I agree in the sense that if you had everyone running around and pillaging because they had nothing like tying them to morality, it would be a horrible place. On the absolute flip side, where it's like becomes a corporation that says if you don't buy enough burgers, you won't get enough things, that's also bad.
And so, both of those are true.
Yeah.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
But it sounds like you two have found, I'm sure millions of other, Christians have, but it sounds like you guys have found the happy medium that makes you feel able to exist.
In the Christian community, it's called deconstruction, which is a word that I despise now. But that's what it's called, is where you go and ask the questions. When we were growing up, the Bible was the absolute stone cold, hard truth. And everything it said is who you are and what you live your life by. And deconstruction at its core is looking at that and going, well, I'm not Jewish. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this was never meant for me. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't oppressed by the Romans. And there are parables and rules and regulations in here that your life will be better if you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But should I be living by the letter to this? Because I live in 2025 and I have 2 kids and I've been divorced once and I've lost everything and gained everything and had failures and successes. And does this completely infallibly apply to me? That's what deconstruction at its core is. Okay. And I think that we have both gone through that probably more than one time.
I don't think that I currently am not a Christian by Christian standards. The same way Underoath is not a metal band by metal standards or a pop band by pop standards.
Same.
Like, I live in this space where I belong nowhere, and I had to go a long way to become comfortable with that. I have no origin story. I can't talk about cool, like, smoking fish and growing up on Metallica. I woke up one day and I was alive. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know what age that was because I was just a kid, small town. I grew up in a place called Newport Richey, 800 square foot house, 5 kids, oldest of 5, skateboarded literally. 411 was the only culture I had my entire life until joining this band.
Sick, dude.
But it sounds
and
like that.
And straight up, then you go to church and you're like, oh, I belong here. And then you blow that up. And then you're too heavy to be on a metal tour, or too heavy to be on a pop punk tour, but you're not heavy enough to be in a metal tour. Like, my entire life has just been being this weird rogue thing that kind of fits everywhere, but in reality has no home. And I think that's what faith is to me. I think I'm a Christian, but any real Christian would ask me 3 questions.
Exactly same.
Do you believe in the resurrection? Do you believe there's a heaven and a hell? Do you believe that if you don't say these things, half of your friend group are going to burn forever? The answer is no, no, and no. And they're like, how dare you call yourself a fucking Christian? I'm like, well, what do you want me to call myself? Because to your point, if I love people, if I have something and you need it, I give it. If I read the red only and love my neighbor as myself, and even that, they're like, the Bible could be boiled down to 2 things. Love your neighbor yourself and love God with all your heart. I can't even do that second one. Mm-hmm. I just love my neighbor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm half kind of a Christian. It's almost like imposter syndrome all over the place for me. And now I live in it. I just sit in it.
I wonder if that's because, like, your neighbor's tangible. You can interact with your neighbor. It's easy to love somebody or something that you can actually put your arms around.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, being able to say, do you love God? What is God? Right. And the problem
what
with,
is it?
The problem with that question is that there's 100 answers to that question, and there's no actual way to know which one is right. You can only decide, in my heart, this is what I believe my truth is, and therefore it becomes true in your reality. But otherwise, it's, and if as you start deconstructing or questioning or looking at, you can easily go, but what is this?
Yeah.
You can love the game, you can love the idea.
Yeah.
But how can I actually commit? Like, you're a thinking Christian is the way that, as an outsider, I would almost like put it, as opposed to a following, you're a thinking.
Yeah, oddly enough, and we align here. Actually, all three of us. I don't know where you're at with Me Without You, but my deconstruction started with Aaron Weiss, the singer of Me Without You.
Yeah.
Kind of same.
There was
Yeah.
a woman that I think she was
my
a girl.
deconstruction of just my existence started with that band.
Yeah.
I wasn't religious, but that band made me start to view the world
Just
in a different way.
think a little bit.
Yeah.
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 So there was a girl at our label named Lori, and Lori Gerlach, was that her name? Redheaded girl.
I think it was Gerlach.
I
It was
would-
definitely a G name.
I would just stay places. Like I flew out and just toured with Me Without You and rode on their bus for 3 days just because I was at home, and again, like I just wanted to do stuff. And I went to Seattle, saw a couple shows, stayed at Lori's house. We went to some jazz bar, and she worked for our label, and then she's a Calvinist. I didn't know what the hell that was.
I don't know what that is.
So basically, it all boils down to predestination. God's already written the story. So if Neen and Phillip are going to heaven, you're already going to heaven. And if you're destined for hell, there's nothing you can do about it. And Tulip
So
is like
destiny.
predestined.
Fate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So TULIP.
Chosen before
I
you were
forget what
born.
it is, but it's an
Okay.
acronym, like theocratic
It
this,
is what
whatever.
it is.
It fucked me up so bad. I read the whole book because I'm totally down to be wrong. I read it and I just left going, yuck. Immediately went on tour with Me Without You. And I was talking to Aaron, who grew up in a weird half Jewish, half Muslim. Mike and Aaron's origin story is so interesting, and I don't want to bastardize it, so I won't say something in the event that I get it wrong because I have
There was a Mennonite thing in there
Reverend
too somewhere, right?
Yeah, I have reverence for whatever they are. But I was talking to Aaron, and Aaron Weiss, not Aaron Gillespie. And I'm like, dude, I read this thing, and Lori, we're all on the same label. And he goes, he literally puts his hand on me and he just goes, Tim. He's like, brother, truth is never going to change. And he's like, think about your faith. Think about the way you view things as a giant house. And you have, I cry talking about it. He's like, you have drywall, pictures, couches, all those things are your parents. The color of your bedrooms, what your mom did to you, the color of your kitchens, what the country you live in did to you. He's like, if you set fire to that house and you're actually okay to set fire to it, just pour some gasoline, throw a match, come back tomorrow. Do you know what will be left? Whatever can't be burnt. Whatever survives is actually the truth. Everything else, everyone's lipsticking the pig and building upon the foundation of truth, to your point, the thinking Christian. Let's love each other. But when you come back and your tithe is gone and maybe touching a boob isn't that bad and maybe my friend's not going to hell and all that, he's like, burn that shit down and come back tomorrow. And
Clip that right before the boob
whatever
comment.
is left, whatever is left is what's real. And I carry a fucking match and kerosene with me forever. It's always in this bag, figuratively. I stress test that changed my life more than giving, more than any lesson from my dad. Like that single thing is why I am sitting at this table right now.
I love that.
And that applies to so many things. Like take that analogy and apply it to your entire friend group and see who's still there. Right?
Absolutely. Like even you, when you have us at your restaurant, I appreciate it. And I also get it. What I hate is, are we just here because Phillip and Neen are giving us something? Am I just here because you're getting something from me? Like we had everyone over at the house the other day. You were invited. We didn't have your number, so you could have come. Sorry.
All good.
But it was just a couple people, some semi-famous, some nobodies, and it doesn't matter. And we don't have to name their names because it wasn't about that. And I left and I was like, this is what life's about.
Yeah.
Chef Rod
quality
cooked for
time.
everybody. We didn't talk about business. We didn't talk about sponsorships and what can we and how do we and we
I blew
should
up a
start.
blender.
We just ate like the Christian break bread with your brothers ate,
Yeah.
and that shit mows my grass. I love it.
I'm a big fan of the idea of a village.
Yes.
Right. And so in the village, I'm the chef. I'm the guy who has the place that you can come for refuge and have dinner. So that's why I do those
okay.
things.
Go
God
on.
damn.
Because
Go
it
on.
makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. It's not about like, oh, these cool guys are going to come in. Let me impress them with dinner. Now, of course, I'm proud of the restaurant, so
You should be.
I am stoked on like
They're
yo,
incredible.
you
You
should.
should be.
Because I'm like they're gonna get it, they're gonna like it, and I'm excited for you guys to try it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you
But,
could do
like-
something, you might as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
if you could share, like, come on in and
But in
try
our
this
in our
out,
Agreed.
in our
you know?
friend group, it's like we have the guy who does wellness, Brigham,
Yeah.
plays to well.
Yeah.
We've got the we've got the guy who, I mean, literally we've got the guy who sells silencers for your guns. We've got the guy who's gonna teach you how to work out. We got the guy who's gonna cook the dinners. We got, and everybody. It's just like a part of being a part of a small village, and that's the
And
thing.
you're the chef.
and I'm the chef in the village.
Yep.
That's important though.
Yeah,
Most people don't have a village.
you have
Like,
to make one.
I
You
grew
have
up
to
without a
join one.
village.
Yeah,
So did he. And we realized that we're kind of our own village.
We
now.
made a village in a 42-foot metal tube.
Yep.
well, here's
I'm
the
the
reason.
chef.
A Prevost H3 is the village that I live outside of my family, obviously now. But even that is a different type of dynamic.
But the reason is correct in the way that Aaron spelled it out for you, which is the village. If you in your the church that you grew up in, if you took your kerosene and matches, you'd be ostracized. In the band, you can do that. I'm sure you've had 1,000 blow-ups.
Absolutely.
That's what the village that you like, the family that you actually find, and that can be your place of worship. That can be your religion. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I think I have faith right here, but it's not because I've never subscribed to any
I was going
religion.
to ask you about that.
I
5
was
minutes
literally
ago.
looking at that.
All right, well then
Yeah.
I'll tell
Let's
you
get
this.
into it, yeah.
Okay, so I have Sisyphus right here. I don't know if you guys know Sisyphus from Greek mythology, dude who rolls the boulder up the hill for eternity.
Yep.
When you dedicate your life, when you decide I'm going to cook, and that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, you have now given up every New Year's Eve, every Valentine's Day, your girlfriend's birthday, every major thing, because you're at the restaurant.
Same.
Right? And well, so this would probably apply to the same idea. It does apply because I came up through music and I came up through touring. So my mind was already wired in that thing about you go away, your girlfriend's at home, you're on the road for 6 months, and
Yep.
you are, no matter how strong your relationship is, your mind is going to start to worry about where you were at a party. Even if you're not a jealous person, you can get there. And so
Sure.
when you are cooking, you spend your days like this. And I'm staring as I'm prepping at my hand that says faith. And the faith is to have faith that I am where I'm supposed to be. And that's it. I
That's
am where
fucking
I'm
good.
supposed to be. And so I would have times before I got this tattoo, like I got get going here. And that was because I had a problem with procrastination. And it's the only upside down tattoo on me because it's literally a remind. Like I look at it and I go,
It's a note to yourself.
anytime that I like get lazy, I'm like, fuck you, let's get going. You know?
Yeah.
And so same idea with faith is every time I'd be at the restaurant and it's New Year's Eve and my girlfriend's drunk at a party, or, anything happening in my family that's, dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stay present. I just look there and I remember that have faith that you are where you're supposed to be. If she sleeps with someone, she's supposed to. Wasn't good, not going to. You worrying won't make a difference. Something happens to your family while you're at work, they're supposed to happen. Nothing you could have done. So it for me, that is the sort of like level of I guess faith in the way that I've approached it for a very long time.
Tim has this thing. He's, I'm going to fuck this up and you have to help. But you get the most, you get the most stressed or the most, it's not homesick, but when you're on a plane and there's turbulence. Can you do that real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Just so
Oh,
I can
okay.
draw the parallel.
Yeah, I actually contemplate quitting the band
That's it.
on flights.
Every time that there's turbulence.
Really? Oh yeah.
Just generally on flights.
'Cause it all could be gone,
There
and-
is something that happens on a flight. I genuinely believe it. And I think I've read somewhere it's not like, oh, I'm this emo guy on a flight. Something
You're
happens with
also
the
an emo guy on
pressure.
a flight.
There's
In
pressure.
addition.
Something happens to hormone. It could all be pseudoscience, but whatever happens to people's chemistry on a plane, like I listen to music and I just cry. I journal. I don't journal. I don't have like my phone's full of notes. 100% of them are from flying.
You know Tim's flying. You get like a
100.
download. He'll hit you with like an opus.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I feel that too every time I fly, and I think like what you're saying. I don't know what chemical kind of
Something's
chaos
different.
happens.
Yeah.
But like I've watched movies on the flight and
Yeah.
I just start tearing.
Bro.
And I never cry when I watch movies, but on a flight, every time, like guaranteed.
And this is like
I'll
not
really get
this is not
touched,
recent.
you know?
Like I'm married 18 years this year. I remember having to get up and go into the bathroom of a plane. We were on our way to South Africa, I think. I'm 25. This is 7 before I was married, so at least 18 years ago. Proposed to my then girlfriend. She's now my fiance in this story. I watched Blood Diamond, the movie about blood diamonds.
Yeah.
I went and cried my eyes out. Like, could not sit in the thing because it was getting too ugly.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, when I get home, we're throwing that fucking diamond out. We're all gross. This is disgusting. I'm a piece of shit. Like, all of that. And then you land and you wake up the next day, you're like, that diamond's pretty cool. It's fine.
The reason,
you know what I mean?
The reason I brought that
wild.
up though is because I think we have been bad at like I have extreme health anxiety, and it ebbs and flows, and it goes through. Right now it's good,
Yeah.
and it's been good for 6, 8, 9 months. There will come a time. There was one thing a couple months ago, but and there will come a time when I spiral and I go, I should be home with my family. I shouldn't be here. If I die out here, I have fucked up. I have squandered real love in my life
Yeah.
because I'm out here trying to be a fucking star, or there's a bunch of people here and they know my name, and I've squandered all of my self-worth on that, and now I have nothing and I'm going to die. And I think that what I'm learning is like every road led to here, and every road led to these 100 songs or however many songs we've made, good and bad. And I have to understand that whatever happens when I'm here is supposed to happen. And it's really, I don't know what it is that him and I specifically, like if you ask Spencer right now, if you died on stage, he'd be like, yeah, hell yeah. He wouldn't say it like that. And he would have a more intelligible, report to that. But like, I want that when I'm cutting onions.
You
You know what I'm saying?
I still struggle with it, just like I struggle with procrastination and being lazy.
Sure.
Right? Or at least from an outside perspective, you might look at me and be like, what do you mean you procrastinate and you're lazy? You do all of these things.
You are definitely the least laziest.
Definitely.
You do know you own 27 restaurants, right?
But laziness is, it's subjective, right?
Sure.
To me, it's like, can I be doing more? And so like, if I can, I should. And I still struggle with this too. I don't know how, and I won't push you on it, but I don't know how much you're open to talking about health anxiety. I struggled
Let's get into it.
for a long time, and only about 6 months ago did ChatGPT tell me I had health anxiety. I didn't know that was a word. And I've been like, I had crippling, I thought I was having like heart attacks.
It's always heart attacks.
Yeah. I'm constantly convinced.
Palpitations. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm constantly convinced, and I'm always worried that I'm just going to pass out and fucking just die. And for years I struggled with that. Like I would sometimes come out from the kitchen, talk to someone, and I'd have to like hold on to my apron or like hold on to the table. And back to this thing. Once I was able to, like, I when I was probably like 18 or 19, I went to the heart doctor and like explained everything, and they hooked me up back then to like a literal tape recorder where you push I lived for like a week with all these things.
I've done that twice.
Yeah, and you push a button every time you feel it, and then they listen back to the tape to tell you what is happening. And this is the best thing that ever happened to me. The second he told me this, it went away for a couple of years. He said, we can't detect what's happening. We're not telling you it's not happening. There's something happening. But here's what you can do, and here's what I can tell you. The next time you feel that, ask yourself, the last time I felt this, did I die?
Yep.
And if the answer is yes, you're going to die. And if the answer is no, you're not going to die. So then you say, well, what happened the last time this happened? Well, it went away after 5 minutes. Okay, well, that's what's going to happen. Because that feeling is the feeling that you had is the, not symptom, but it is the outlet of whatever it is, right? So that feeling is what has come up. And so can't tell you what it is, can't tell you how to stop it, but you don't have to worry about it because that
Can
feeling,
confirm death is not on the table.
Yeah.
I even
Yeah.
got mine diagnosed. They're called preventricular contractions, and your heart has an extra beat, and everyone has them. The doctor said to me, he goes, on a heart monitor in 12 years in this office, I've been a cardiologist for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've only had one person not have them, but you just feel them because you're focused.
Mhm.
But I want to say this to you. A couple of months ago, we did Chris Williamson's podcast, and he said this statement to me. He's like, and he said this, but I want to say something different. He said, all the talent and the art, this is the cost of it. And I cried my eyes out on the podcast, but I've deduced it to this. You're an artist, and you're an artist. When you do a skate routine, I don't know what it's called. Like
When you do your skate recitals,
no, it's like
I love
in a
it.
competition.
No, I love it.
In a competition, do you write down kickflip here? This you don't do that, do you?
No, that would probably just all be in your head, you know?
That's art.
Yeah.
You got to create
You
a.
just have like a whole line, basically.
Sorry, I
we'll
said
call it,
routine.
right?
I suck, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone now in the comments is like, "You're a loser."
No.
You lost 2 cred points.
But you know what I mean? Like, you have in your mind, you're like, that ramp or hill. What's it called?
Yeah.
Whatever that thing is. Like, I'm gonna do
Quarter pipe, half
I'm gonna
pipe.
do a 360 flip on that
Yeah.
first, and then I'm gonna do it fakey on the other side. What I know some terms. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, you got
like,
some.
what you do, what I saw last night is food, and it nourishes the body. But I could have cried at that fucking lunchbox at the end. What you guys do is pure. I mean, sushi is pure art. You put it in your mouth, and it does 1,000 things to your mind.
Yeah.
You're chasing that. You're chasing something that tastes good, but you want to get somebody.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never had, other than the burgers, I've never really had any desire to feed you because you're hungry. There are a lot of places you can go eat because you're hungry.
Chili's rips because that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the point I'm making, we're all artists here. And everything we just described with health anxiety, this is where I believe it comes from. When you're hyper creative, you are hyper creative. I am hyper creative. Do you think you can turn that off? Absolutely not.
No.
Not when you sleep, not when you fuck, not when you fight, not when you lift weights. You create, bar none, all the time. And when you stop creating, do you think you stop creating in your central nervous system? Fuck no, dude.
Things still fire.
You are wired that way. And when you don't create, that motherfucker creates. And I think that when you're hyper creative, your central nervous system keeps making, keeps creating, and it will create things that you're like, what? I don't want that kind of creativity. I only want the output creativity. But unfortunately, when you're hyper creative, you might go in an airplane bathroom and cry over a fictional or semi-fictional movie because you don't have control over it. And I don't think you ever can. And people do the whole thing. The Freudian thing is like, where's it from? Let's find out why you're having palpitations. It's because you're thinking about this thing that happened to you when your uncle said this to you when you were 8. I don't know if I believe that.
I don't believe that.
I think it's because
You're just hyper creative.
you're just hyper creative and you got to own that shit.
I think you have to surrender. Like,
You do.
Surrendering is easier, and rarely is the easiest thing the right thing. I think in this scenario, I was raised, and I still believe, if it's easy, it's cheap and fast. But in this case, it's one of the few times where I think if you surrender and just let it be, that is also the right thing.
Yeah, it's like knowing how to relax.
That one.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
That one.
I don't know if it's productive for me to just be like, I'm going to start listening to uplifting music on planes because I become a mess. Like, or whatever, or stop crying at this. Or,
And most
I think
therapists would tell you
I
that.
cried all last night. Like, I'm just okay with that now.
Well,
I'm
so
fine
here's,
with
so
that.
Here's the thing.
If that makes me a pussy, I'm a pussy.
I don't
I
think-
don't care.
I
You know
don't-
what I mean?
You're just
I don't
accepting.
think it does. I think that you are right with the way that you've presented it. I'm going to present another idea.
Ooh, this is my shit. Let's go.
Before I go into that, I don't think it's just about being creative. I think that if you're creative and you're an artist, you also are overwhelmingly sensitive and tapped into something in yourself.
That one.
And
Yes.
so you feel things. You can't write a song that makes people cry if you can't feel things inside of yourself. And if you can feel things inside of yourself that others can't, yeah, you feel your fucking heart beating. Like you just do. I was actually at dinner with Joe, and I was talking about like some of my heart like palpitations or like anxiety or whatever, and he said he explained to me what we call anxiety, what he believes it is, and it really resonated with me. And the idea is that like our bodies were not designed to live the lifestyle that we live currently. Our bodies were designed to run through the jungle being chased by jaguars, right?
And to kill something and eat it.
Correct.
Yes.
And especially when you grow up skateboarding, playing sports, playing music, like drumming is probably the most calories you could possibly burn of anything you do, right?
Full contact.
Full contact. I mean, your toe muscles are getting a workout. And especially when you have that as a child and a teenager and a young adult, and as you start to slow down, your body still needs to rev. And so you would never notice how like your heart beating fast while you're running a marathon. But if you're sitting on the couch and your body hasn't gotten the amount of energy expulsion that it needs, it will just expel the energy. And then you're sitting there on the couch going, whoa, why do I feel like I just ran a race?
It must be a heart attack.
It must be a heart attack. But it's not. It's just your body going like, yo, motherfucker, you didn't move me enough, so I'm going to move me.
Yep.
Yeah, I also want to touch on that is
Ooh, that's good.
I
Yeah.
think it's just like it's kind of like what you were saying. It's like your central nervous system is just it just keeps going, right?
It does.
So if you don't take a second to like sit down, relax, and like, you know, there's like mindfulness practices, meditation practices that you can do, like box breathing and stuff to help
Live out of a box breathe.
to help ramp that central nervous system down so you could finally relax. Because like, you know, like what you were saying, Phillip, it's like these days we weren't made like as an entrepreneur and as an artist. It's like our brains are just left, right, forward, center. Like there's just so much shit going on that we're just grinding all day, and the emotions are flying all throughout the window. And I think a lot of times with, you know, people that do a lot of different things that create, we don't take a step back to like really calm that central nervous system down and like really just like have a mindfulness like block 5-10 minutes of just no emotional thinking and just focus on like nothing and just let the brain clear.
I think that's important, and I think you have to qualify what you said with that, because if you just hear what he said, like that's the cost. I'm a brilliant genius, so I'm also a
I
psychopath.
did not call myself a genius.
I'm calling you that, which he is. Like he's regardless. Irregardless. If you just say, because we're hyper creative, therefore this is what it is, that almost gives this like absolved permission to allow that to spin at will, as if it's happening to you and you have no control, which I personally disagree with.
I disagree with that. I more
my
mean it's a
nature
control method.
is to do this, but I also can't say because I've written music and I've never had a real job in 20 years and I do this, like when Neen said in the essay, therefore this is just also who I am. It's just the heads to my tails.
But so many...
I disagree with that. I think that might be where it starts, but you're finishing that sentence. I think that's really important to the story.
I think all of this does, and I think that so many artists in the way that like you're like that's the you said that is the what's the word?
Price.
The price. I almost feel like it's could be flipped around, because most artists have to make the art to not feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you never have a panic attack while you're doing the art. You have a panic attack when you're not doing the art, which then leads you to doing the art.
Typically before and not after too. If you
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
think, if you know, I saw this therapist once, and I have mixed thoughts on therapy, but she said something to me that is what you're saying. I have tried to learn to live in it. Palpitations. She goes, we know now medically that you're fine. You are fine.
You'd have died already.
She goes, I cannot legally tell you, that what you're feeling is nothing, but we do know evidence in science, and I've had reams of blood work, and they're like, my brother.
You're
Like,
good. You're good.
you know, like we can't tell you anything. Could you-
Healthy as a horse.
literally, like you could take, you know, you could lose 15 pounds, but other than that, you can just rip right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to learn to radically accept those feelings. That those feelings are either from because you should be chasing a mammoth or because you haven't ran 5 miles today. Whatever it is, like those things are the same, I think. But like they want me now at this stage in my treatment or where I'm at with health anxiety is they want me to feel it. That's everyone I talk to is like
Surrender.
box breathe around it.
Yeah.
And if you die, she said this to me before. If you die, you have done everything possible to combat that. You run 5K every day. You're the most energetic drummer. You are just, if you die, maybe you're just supposed to.
Yeah.
Faith. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I've created my own, and I got you to almost do a spit take when we were walking down the street the other night. When you asked me about that guy, and I said maybe he's not real.
Yeah.
I've created a whole mindset for myself that because I don't have religion. I never growing up like I went to church. My family tried a couple of different things, but we were never really like I've been to a Jewish. I don't know what the word's for a
Synagogue.
synagogue.
Temple.
I've
Yeah.
been to a Christian. I've been to a couple of different things. But it never necessarily resonated with me. Probably because I started listening to the kind of music I did too young. And so like it just didn't resonate with me. But the mindset or outlook that I've created for myself, which is weird, but it helps me, is like when you brought up turbulence on a plane, I fly a lot. I'm on like sometimes 20 flights a month.
Wow.
And I would get, anytime there was turbulence or even when turbulence was coming, I would get really, really nervous and I'd be like, what if I die? And my mind would spiral and all this stuff. And I started to kind of see all these similarities between, like we talked about earlier, there's no way to actually know the truth. You can't know the truth. You can just pick a truth and then live by it.
Have faith in it.
And my truth has sort of become, this is an RPG game. And so
With all due respect, I'm here for that.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If you, and we only have another hour or so we don't have enough time to get too deep into it, but like in an open world RPG game, like if you look at your life, you start out like the first like couple of hours of the game is just collecting experience points and learning how to use like the joystick.
Where the stores are.
Sea legs.
Then you start following the storyline. But then you can also go off on side quests and blah, blah. And so like when I fly, I actually tell myself, in your game, you don't die in transit. You just don't die in transit. And if you can't die in transit, then there's nothing to worry about because that's not the storyline.
I
Boom. Done.
tell myself the same thing, but from a much more dickhead perspective.
His ass isn't playing Zelda.
I don't like flying without them.
Oh, I'm the same way.
Do you know why? Because I might die in transit. But if there is a god or someone's playing this thing, you're not going to kill everyone in Underoath. You're just not.
It's
Aaron
so
can't
true.
die. I can die without him. He can die solo.
God, it's so true.
I literally told myself that when we were touring, and then the more bands on the same flight, I'm like, oh, this one's fine.
And so
This
that-
one's fine.
Yeah,
And so that's what is. And
I like that one.
You put me on a 2-2, and I'm in a freaking window, and we hit one bump, 48-minute flight, and I'm by myself.
But that's what the not
I'm
a
just
damn
like,
chance.
we're going down.
That's what the not a damn chance mindset is. It's again, is my idea right? Is your idea right? They're probably all wrong. But if you find a mindset that at the end of the day goes, there's not a fucking damn chance this plan's going down today, then you don't have to worry about it, and then you get to have a nice, pleasant, peaceful life. So it's just about finding a mindset that allows you
Yeah.
to have a peaceful life.
And I
Was
think
it-
that's important.
Ignorance is bliss. Is that the right
Yeah.
saying? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's impossible now. Like, he's seen too much, 20 flights a month. All he's doing is getting more inputs. I think that's really important to point out. Like, I don't watch the news. I'm off social media for the most part. I people are like, "Did you hear about the Gaza?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. You know." And they kind of look at me in disdain as if I'm like apathetic to it. And I really believe that if you live here, you should care more about spending time with your chef from your village.
Yeah.
And I can't fix a girl who got beheaded by a serial killer after middle school in Idaho. Why do I need to even know that exists? Like, we aren't built for that. We are built for community. Almost to a fault of mine. Like, when I'm home. But when I'm here, I have to literally be like, you know, you have a wife and children. They'd probably love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Because I am so
present
here.
Yeah.
I am nowhere else but here. But when you're like us and you're here is everywhere and all the time.
Yeah.
And it's everything all the time. That is a recipe for, or everything we do is fucked. I'm out. All of it. Like,
you're living in the present.
and that's where
know?
but when
So
you're,
you have to be selectively blissfully ignorant.
and you can't, I don't think you can choose. I think you have to surrender and box breathe or whatever you do and like RPG your brain away and, you know.
No, but you can. Like,
whatever.
you choose to not focus on those things. Like, the two of us choose to not be involved or follow anything political. And that wasn't like a choice we made together. We just both happened to you know. But like, speaking for myself, like, I am such a passionate person that I know that if I got involved with following politics, one of two things would have to happen. One, I would just get so fucking angry.
Yeah, it would
or
crush
two,
you.
I would quit my life and I would go try to fix the problem.
Also agree.
I can't go quit my life. I have too many people who rely on me to do what I'm doing to do that, and then and therefore, why do I need to burden myself with so much hate and so much negativity and so much drama? Instead,
If you
I'd
can't
rather
even-
be blissfully ignorant.
Yeah. And if you can't make a dent in it, it's just inputs for no good reason.
Yeah,
It's eating junk food without a digestive system. Why?
There's these two Christian tropes. I don't know if you call them tropes or sayings or whatever. Knock Loose actually just named their latest album one of these tropes. But my mom used to say, and I don't know where this comes from, and it could be somehow amalgamated from the Bible somewhere, but she still says this to me today. I'm real close with my mother, and she says, "The Lord won't put on you any more than you can bear." Do you know what I mean? But I think you have to decide that a little bit. Like, I'm not going to scroll this thing and see about the beheaded girl, whatever. I think you have to make a decision.
You can also choose when to make your plate bigger to allow more food.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the second trope, this is my favorite one, and I don't know if I feel like trope is minimizing it, but you won't go before you're supposed to. And that's referring to death. And that's what the RPG game is. That's what claiming that there's so much creativity that it's just spinning. That's what it is you're not going to go before you're supposed to. I believe that with every inch of me. And that isn't just death. That's madness,
Everything.
insanity, over-accepting, under-accepting. It's all of those things.
I think in the world today, it's like we deal with so much stress, you know, and just putting a bunch of unwanted stress in your head by just like scrolling and focusing on all these like crazy things that social media and everything is feeding you all the time. It's just, if you can't personally do anything about it, you shouldn't let it in and let it affect your reality.
And I'm going to give you a compliment.
Agreed.
You make the best burger money can buy, in my opinion.
Well, we make the best burger money can buy.
Yes. You know what I'm saying.
Compliment
Of
accepted,
course.
by the way.
In my opinion,
Thank
both
you.
of you, I ate 2 in one night once
Let's go.
after a bunch of bad decisions. But he probably saved my life and the show in front of 10,000 people the next day. If you two focused constantly on Shake Shack and I don't know what other Hote burgers there are now, but if you did that, you would not make the best burger.
Yeah.
You would be incapable of it, which is why I think as musicians, you see bands stumble and have their newest stuff isn't as great as their old stuff because we are so focused on all the time as a society. Oh, well, they made this song and it's fucking huge, and now they have flames and
Can't
fire.
make spite art.
You can't.
Yeah.
Ooh, you can't?
Oh, okay, sure. Yes, you can. You can do anything.
No, I think
But it won't.
Maybe
it won't
that's
be
like
as
the
good.
punk
I don't-
side. I think I know where you're going with that. That's just an inspired thing. Yes, agreed.
By
But
the way, spite was the wrong word because that's not what he was talking about. You were talking more about like almost like
Pandering to
jealousy or
trends.
competitive.
Yeah.
I'm
Competitive.
saying
Competitive.
You
comparison
could
art.
definitely make spite art, or there'd be no such thing as punk rock.
That's okay.
Right?
That's where I was going to
In
go. I was
NABC
like,
burger-
Spite art is kind of my favorite.
You don't make
fuck
it.
you, and
You don't.
You. I don't give a shit.
We would not have
Check
Rage
this
Against
out.
the Machine without spite.
Yeah.
An ABC burger isn't a comparison burger.
No.
You said this is what is fantastic.
Well, do you know what the
Eat it,
do you know what the
motherfucker.
background? Do you know
Right?
the-
I actually don't.
I
so,
don't
okay,
either.
so here's the story. The story is he has multiple careers. I have maybe you could say multiple careers, but we both have businesses, we both have income, we both have responsibilities, we both have people who rely on us. We would hang out. Our wives are best friends, we're best friends, we had kids at the same time. Like we would just hang out a lot. And what we would do when we would hang out is we'd cook. And one of the things we loved cooking together was making burgers. And so we literally were like, we'd make burgers at home. And then one day we're like, yo, we should go like make burgers for people and give them away for free. So for the first like almost 2 years of NADC, we would just show up at like our very first pop-up was an after party at Kill Tony on like the
We talked about this the
patio.
other night.
Yeah. Okay.
And we would literally just show up and we'd bring enough stuff to make 50 burgers and we'd just make burgers for people. We would show up to a skate park. Hey kids, free burgers. And
Pass them out.
and
That's
events
sick.
with
That's the
no
sickest
with
thing.
Fun.
with zero desire to start a burger business. The only desire was to have fun and to try to make every time we would make it, we're like, oh, what if we tried this? We just the love of just trying to make the best burger was what started it. And then one day a buddy of ours was like, yo, I've got a bar down on Rainy Street with an empty kitchen and a staff. If you want, you can just teach them how to make the burger and we'll just give you a royalty for everyone that you sell. And we were like, wait, we don't have to do anything?
Mm-hmm.
All right, fuck it. And then when we, opening day, the fucking 600 kids in line or whatever, and it's like, wow, this is and now, fast forward a couple years, we have like 11 of them. But it was never
crazy.
designed,
There's 11.
It's been
something like
wild.
that, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But
Yeah, I think there's officially 10, and then there's the 11th one opens up in like 2 weeks, and then there's a couple more down the line.
I always exaggerate and then speak it into existence. Oh, whatever number I give you, just take 10% off, but we'll
forgiveness
get
is
there.
so much better than
I know a guy.
There technically is 11. It's just the one's just about to open in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
so-
yeah.
But I think to me, like that's kind of spite burger to me. Like your Michelin stars skater, this like we're not. There's no plan. We're not paying attention anymore. We're just doing what the fuck we want. We don't
Yeah.
care if anyone likes it.
But it's
we
not
don't
spite.
care if
That-
any.
that's
I know
literally-
it's
but
a
that's
different thing,
love.
but that's what. It's the same to me.
Yeah.
Like the spite, not in spite.
Yeah.
I think is better.
That's
like
true.
in spite of what
In
we
spite of
could
the
be
fact
doing,
that
we're
we
just
have
going to
no
go
business
feed a bunch
here.
of kids.
Yeah.
It's a thing that we love and have passion
It's passion.
for. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it's real, people understand it.
Yeah.
As soon as you go VC and you're in every airport, nobody's going to give a shit about your burgers. Nobody's going to care because you're just going to be regular. Like there's a soul, and that's something we fight with. And I'm not speaking that into existence, by the way. What I am saying is there is a.
I hope we're in every airport.
Get
one
that
day. Let's
airport
speak that-
cash.
You
yeah.
should.
Yeah, let's
but
go.
Get that fucking
you know
airport
where
money.
I'm coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when the soul is gone, it's just bread and meat and onions. When the soul is gone, it's just how
special
low
jalapenoes.
can you tune
Yeah.
and who mixed your record. Like
Yep.
nobody cares about rearranging chords a different way from us.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that from anyone. They care about rearranging a chord in a way, whether it's spiteful or loving, or as long as it's real.
As long as it comes
That
from a
shit.
place of like, I can't do something else. I have to
I
do
have
this.
to
I
do this.
feel
Yes.
passionate.
Yeah.
It's just passion.
I have no choice but to do this.
Oof.
Until we talked about this, I might have to have a beer. Like
I'll have one with. I haven't had a beer on the show, but I'll have one with you if you need one.
I literally talked about this with Aaron last night, and I'm like, Underoath should be making music all the time because we're a full-time band. It's how we pay our bills. I don't want to write a single note until the option is we have no choice but to. Like that is where the shit happens to me, But in the music industry, when it gets so wound up, you do this, record drops, You try to do a support tour, get more people, try to get on radio, do a headliner. Then you do a thing called a B market headliner, which is where you hit Austin because you hit Dallas last time and there's tertiary markets in this. And then guess what? You're done. You've already played your one time through on the cycle. Nobody in Austin or Dallas wants to see you again until what? Your next record. So then you immediately get put back in the machine and you start rearranging chords again. And sometimes you're just rearranging chords and that's it. And that is when it's fucked.
Yeah. See, I'm the
That's it.
when it comes to creating, I'm kind of the opposite of what you just said. I do create well up against it, but I have designed a world where I'm never up against it. So for me, I can't sit down. I'm not good at sitting down and being like, okay, you got to write a menu. Now, if I'm doing a catering event or whatever, I have to write a menu of, I'm writing a set list. That's easy because I already have all of the songs.
Yeah.
But when I'm going to create something new, it has to be complete free form, and I can't ever sit down and be like, what's the next dish? I just have to live my life, and every once in a while I'm in the shower, type it in, and that's it. It has to just completely come to me naturally. I've tried so many times. Anytime I try to force it, I can't. It has to just hit me.
And I think you guys are saying the same thing.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we are aware of and we haven't solved yet, but we're trying to. So like music to me is almost like a libido. Like there's just days where you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
It's just
And
not
there's
there.
days where, and I've heard similar to us, we're just round tabling, like breathe in, surrender, deal with it, get a tattoo. We're all trying to solve.
What the fuck?
We're all trying to solve
Deal with
something,
it, bro.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there's no real answer. But in that world, like I have friends that have tried to schedule sex. They're like, yeah, we had a conversation. I'm a every day. She's a twice a week. So we met in the middle at 3. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, whether we're feeling it or not, we just do it. That to me is so unfun. And that's how art
crazy.
can be.
It's not just unfun. I have a weird, so Margaret and I have one child, and we've discussed, do we want more? And we have kind of come to the conclusion of we would love to have another and are incredibly happy to have just one. And so although we are doing nothing to prevent it, we are not actively like, so I have friends who have been like, well, we use an app and we know exactly at the peak of ovulation and we go, and in my weird mind, first of all, I'm like, you can't make a baby if it's not supposed to be made, and you can't stop a baby if
Absolutely.
right. But also I feel like there's something robotic about that. And I feel like if you're going to look, you can force me to put a dish on the menu. It will not be as good as if it's creatively coming from my soul. And so I feel like when it comes to sex and procreation, you don't want a scheduled offspring. You want a natural, organic, like passionate offspring.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something too. I heard somewhere, I don't know where it was, but it was like, if you just, and it was towards music, and I kind of feel the same way with skating, and I'm sure it's the same with cooking, but if you just go in there like daily and just riff for, it's called riff, right?
Yeah.
For like 10.
It's called a routine.
It's a music
routine.
It's a music routine.
When I do my guitar
Was it
routines,
a routine?
I fucked up the whole podcast with that one word. Y'all are going to air this now. So trash
yeah,
it.
basically
The
like,
whole clip is just gonna be routine.
you go in for like 10 minutes or something and just kind of riff for a little bit and then see if something comes, right? And then like the more you do that, the more it just starts kind of falling into place.
So that's the middle. That's the middle way where you acknowledge that nobody wants pre-planned sex and pre-planned offspring. So we just wait until we're both magically, perfectly horny and we go. That also is a very defeatist thing. You have to have intentionality. I think that to me is giving God or the universe a chance to talk.
Yeah.
If you just go into the studio every day,
Show
just
up.
go, hey, universe, is there any transmissions today? And if there's not, turn right around and go play golf.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's
Golf.
yes and, right?
Yeah.
Like you can force and schedule the routine to make yourself the most receivable of said thing. You could think about the menu all day long, but you don't get to choose what point in the shower it finally comes and you have to jump out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
say, here it is. But the showing up is your only job.
And the more often
And
you
then
show up.
the God and the aliens talk, and when they talk, you better be ready.
Yeah.
And you can't be ready if you don't show up. So it's yes and. We do our part, and then we hope that whatever this RPG thing is
It all just
does
falls
its
together.
part.
Yeah.
But if you don't have antennas out and you're not even trying to get signal to text some untapped thing that doesn't exist yet, then you're never going to get anything.
So that right there, I think, puts a ribbon on what we were talking about earlier about it being the price of creativity. It's the price of having your antennas out.
Yeah.
If you're going to open yourself up to creative juices, or some people will call it a channel or a muse or whatever, you can live a very fine life where everything is closed down. You feel nothing. You go to work. You have you have kids and a wife,
And your life is essentially good.
and it's good. And you watch TV every night, and you go to sleep, and you make the kids school lunch, and
You have
right?
benefits.
You have all of those things,
Yeah.
and then you don't feel any of the things that come along with the feedback of having your antennas, open.
I think there's levels of
Yeah.
that too. Like there's songs that you write that connect, and there's songs that you write that connect in a different way, and there's songs that you write that don't connect. And I think there's a level of your antenna. So here's an example. Last night we're at your restaurant. Wagyu is like, I will eat Wagyu off the street outside from a bumper and I will like it. If you put bone marrow on a piece of diarrhea, there's a chance I'll try it. You know what I mean? Like that stuff. But there was a dish last night that was centered around cabbage. Cabbage is garbage. And it had stems from, like, refuse stems. I don't know if it was celery leaves. That's trash. Ostensibly, the stuff you cut off of vegetables, you fried it.
Until it's not.
Yeah.
And that to me is like the song that really connects.
Yeah.
Is that level of antenna of you going, I'm going to take some meat and wrap it in cabbage, and now it's black. And the unadventurous eater will go, hey, Phillip, that's trash. And then you put it in your mouth, and you're like, that might be better than the Wagyu. That's the long antenna.
So it's
you know
not-
what I'm saying?
So I don't. So it's definitely not better than the Wagyu, but what it is it's more impressive than the Wagyu, because to me, so I've always had this idea that it is impressive to show you a bunch of luxury ingredients that you either haven't had before, or you
Can't get access
or you
to.
can't get access
Yeah.
to, or you've had before because you were privileged enough to have it, and all I got to do is just not fuck it up. That's impressive. I think it's more impressive to serve you salmon better than you've ever had salmon before. I think it's more impressive to give you cabbage more, like, better than you've ever thought cabbage could be. So, like, with sushi, and we're talking about pasta bar, but I'll talk about sushi for a second. I could write a menu with way more obscure fish. I could write an entire menu of fish you've never heard of, right? Or I could give you a bunch of fish you've had 1,000 times, but when you take a bite of this yellowtail, you're like, holy shit, I've never had yellowtail that good. And to me,
Yeah.
that's more impressive.
The point, yeah, and the point I'm making is like, that's when you really, when you were in the shower and you jotted that down. I'm gonna turn cabbage into a black turd ball, and it's gonna be the best thing you've ever eaten. And I'm sorry to. It's
Well,
incredible.
I'm going to give Chef Dan the props on that. That's not my dish. That's his.
But that type of recipe,
Yeah.
what I'm saying though is that's when you put your antennas out and you didn't have to go play golf.
Yeah.
Like that's when you really stuck those fuckers up and it hit you like a ton of bricks. And I think that's the shit.
But food also comes oftentimes, and you guys will relate to this a lot because I relate it to music. A lot of times people will ask me, how did you come up with that dish? Or how did you come up with dishes? And the answer I usually give is I'm like, think about your favorite guitar player, right? And think about your favorite song that guitar player wrote. He didn't write that song in a vacuum. Those are several different riffs he's been fucking with
An
for several
amalgamation,
years. And then it was just the next thing that came out. And that happens a lot with food, is like, I might have been ruminating on a sauce or a flavor profile or a texture forever. And then one day, like, and I've tried it. I've tried to figure out how to turn it into a song, but it just hasn't really ever clicked. But then one day it fucking does. And that's the next single.
But to that, have you ever accidentally, or let's say intentionally, just actually written a banger from start to finish in 30 minutes? Because that happens too. Like every song we write
in
is
music,
not
yes.
this laborious. Like we've been holding onto these riffs, and I think Aaron calls me. He's like, "Dude, that thing from 3 years ago, I figured out how to make that a chorus." We do that. We also sometimes just get in a room, and 4 hours later, we're like, "Holy shit!"
Magic happens.
Yep.
I mean, both. Obviously, earlier in your career, you don't have 3 years to, to ruminate on an idea before your first song.
Sure.
So like every band I've always thought, like every band I've ever been in, the very first song you write on your first day of practice defines your band almost forever. Like that's the song that is like, that's the DNA. Now you might grow and, but like that's who your band is. And I feel like that with food, like the hamachi with the corn pudding is the very first song I wrote for the very first like sushi by scratch like location. And that is still, but that dish came from a corn puree that I had already been doing years prior, and I had actually done a dish at another restaurant of mine where like I painted the plate yellow with corn pudding, and then I had these big cubes of hamachi on it, and I made tweels of sourdough, and I made an emulsion of soy sauce. And so like when it came time to write a sushi menu, because it's basically like, all right, now I'm writing a concept album, right? It's a side project concept album. I was like, I'm not going to throw away all of my pedals and come up with an entirely new tone. This is already my style. I'm just going to adapt the thing I already do.
I'll still use the reverb. I'll still
because
use the
reverb
phase.
is my thing. It's
Yeah.
like my favorite thing about music is like when it's been a while, so like back when there was radio, right? And you knew that your favorite band was going to be, coming out with a new song
There still
on the
is.
radio.
It's just fucked, by the way.
But what I'm getting to is like you knew that they'd be on the radio within the next couple of days with the new single, and you'd just be waiting, and then the bass tone would come in. You're like, I recognize that bass tone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fingers are a thing too.
Yeah.
I don't like John Mayer at all. But
Damn, dude.
John Mayer had, I think it was John Mayer. He had a
Non
statement
sequitur of the day.
that said,
Throw that in there. Clip that. I don't like John Mayer
That's it.
at all. Not a damn chance.
but he had something where he's like, I don't write music and riffs and licks that people can't play. Anyone can play them. I'm the only one that can play them my way.
That's John
and
Mayer.
you will know when it's me. You could put blind people in a dark room and have 500 guitar players play my riff, and then when I play it, they go, "That's him."
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not about finding fish that nobody's found. It's doing the same shit, but undeniably your way.
Yeah.
And that's the authenticity.
So let's-
that's the spark. That's the antenna that I think we all strive for.
So let's bring that sort of full circle back to your band, because I've really enjoyed this conversation thus far in terms of just like mindset and life views. But,
We're real bad at the promotion thing.
well, forget.
What band are we in, Phil? Phillip. Sorry.
Forget even the promotion side of. But like you said something earlier that is one of the reasons you almost said it as like a negative, but it's one of the reasons that I think I liked your band the first time that I heard it.
I called some of your ingredients trash too, but you knew what I meant. Yeah.
You said, these guys were like into death metal, but you were into Nirvana, right? So I was into like Dave Grohl growing up was my favorite drummer.
Me too.
And
Same.
Changing the Times was the first record I got into, but then I listened to the stuff prior that was like almost straight death metal.
Yep.
But the reason I think that I liked it so much is because like it wasn't just blast beats. You know what I mean? Like to a lot of the riffs, it could have just been blast beats. And I never really got into death metal because as a drummer, I need more than just. And so, them bringing you on or you joining that band, you need to have, people who can bring something different to the table so that you can actually create something that like when the first time I heard Underoath, I'd never heard a band that sounded like that.
Interesting.
Because like I was into hardcore. I was mildly into, death metal adjacent. My friends were into death metal, but then bringing in the synth and all those things. There was like elements that like were very different from like, because it was a time in hardcore where every band was fast part, two-step breakdown, fast part, two-step breakdown, sing along, outro.
Yep.
So I would love to get a little bit more into like we started, you joined the band when you were like 17. You went home, you practiced, you learned. But like, where did you guys, like, when did you, or how did you go from like that of just like being a high school, band to starting to like go on the road and like some of those things?
The band had done one tour before I joined the band called 40 Days of Disaster, which from what I'm told was
40 Days of Disaster.
perfectly
It was
named.
just about. It was like a regional southern states, East Coast thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So we kind of had a really interesting how we got here is very interesting and very if there is a God, very whatever that is, not us. I think as you get older, you want to talk about how, dude, when I wrote that song, the first one, I knew that's why I was talking to you, and like we were just going, and we were on a really small label called Take Hold Records that they signed on the back of a napkin. And then we had no manager, no agent. Our lead singer at the time, Dallas, was kind of the guy. And then Corey, the guy that I replaced, was the music guy. And everyone else just did what Dallas said and played what Corey wrote. And then I came in and, if I want to be braggadocious, I liberated everyone and unlocked everyone. But in reality, what was happening is I wasn't as good as Corey, and I had no idea who I am because I had no culture, and I needed help. But I was hired as the primary songwriter because that's what Corey did. Nobody here has written a song yet, including me. What a weird spot to be in. So Changing of Times is Angel Below was Corey's last song that he wrote before he quit. There were one or two on that record that was pre-me.
I think it was maybe a start too. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it
and then
was
we
not
finished
a
it.
completed thing.
And then the death metal band starts having electronics and, clean guitars and emo, like, gut-wrenching minor chords. That's just all I knew how to play. It wasn't like guess what I'm going to do? You hired Phillip. Daddy's got the corn in the shit. Well, welcome to hell, bitch. We're going to take you everywhere now. It wasn't like that. It was me knowing he could sing. He hadn't sung yet. And I was like, you need to sing. And then that was a whole thing with Dallas, our old singer. So then Dallas left. So then we got Spencer. And in 2001, it was just us. And then our label got bought by Tooth and Nail, Solid State Records, out of nowhere. We were just in their catalog. We were acquired with a merger. Okay. And then now we're on the biggest Christian label. Didn't get signed. Don't know anyone there. That was not our intention. We just got gobbled up with a giant portfolio.
Yeah.
And then we wrote Chasing Safety, and I'm abridging for sure. But there were so many small things that if one of those things didn't happen, we would not be here.
At the time, Tooth and Nail was
we
owned
needed
by a huge company.
all of them. We
Yeah.
needed every single one. I needed to come in at the right time. He needed to walk in at the right time and hear me play. I needed to not have death metal or roots with the Beatles like my dad and all this. I needed to come in blank and just feral. And I also needed to come in as bad as I was. Because if I was slightly better and they told me, we don't know, we just need a driver. I'm like, okay, I'll drive.
Yeah.
And it would not, but I couldn't.
But that's the idea to subscribing.
3
to
years
our
later,
destiny.
this band's trash because now I'm better and I actually make it worse, or vice versa. Like we're trying to figure out what that is still. And that is the universe, God,
That's the idea of destiny.
yeah.
Like,
but like taking it from a child perspective, like, the artist child,
What do you
like
mean?
R&B guy,
3 I's, CH.
black guy.
oh no.
So sick. But he has a fantastic lyric that says, I met God and she's black. That's my shit. Like, that's it. What if everything we think we know is happening in a completely different way?
Well, it is.
What if God is real, which is something I don't know about, but what if she is black?
Yeah.
What if it's all RPG, all simulation? What if, like, that's where art comes from. That shit gets me, And that's it. There was no plan. Still to this day, meet and greets. People pay, $50 extra, and we play them a few extra songs, and they get stuff signed. Always, I want to be like you. My son's in a band. Phillip, how do I become Michelin stars, sushi? That was never the plan. You just kept chasing, and you kept just listening with your antennas.
Yeah.
And then you bump into a guy, and you just fuck around with some burgers. 11 locations later, not the plan. There's never been a plan. My only advice to anyone who wants to be you or me or him is don't have a plan.
Yeah.
The second you have a plan, it's over.
Well, you can have, I mean,
Creatively.
you can have an idea of where you would like to go one day. You can have an
Yes,
idea of
sure.
like, but I think what you're trying to say, and I subscribe to it wholeheartedly, is you need to allow the universe to unfold the way that it does.
Correct.
You need to be able to allow organics to occur, because you can't control the world. You can't control, I mean, you can design, or you can, I think you can design, but I don't think you can control.
Yeah. And I think, case in point, like I wanted to be in a band. I thought it'd be cool to be on tour. I thought it'd be cool to have new friends. I thought it'd be cool to write a record. What's a studio look like?
Yeah.
That's it. Being here was never on the radar.
You never knew you'd be big enough to be on the Not a Damn Chance podcast.
Fuck
Literally.
no, dude.
No, but for real. And going back to like that weird thing where rappers want to be basketball players and basketball players want to be rappers, like we meet the most famous musicians and I don't care. And then
Yeah.
we go to your spot, and the second you guys popped up at our little party, we did a record release party at Cabana Club, I was like, this is cooler than seeing Trent Reznor.
So
You know what I
rad.
mean? Or like meeting XYZ. I get really excited when I get to meet like Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
They're theoretically our peers. I think we play about the same size rooms. But like those are like my rock star moments. Like,
So rad.
did you see that? Ari Shaffir just walked by. who the fuck is Ari Shaffir? To you guys, nobody. But to me, it's just so foreign. It's interesting.
Well, Ari's
You know?
Ari's somebody to us, but yes.
But I'm saying he's somebody, but
Yeah.
he's just your homie.
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, he's right there.
That you literally said.
You know what I mean?
You said when we sat down. I don't think we were recording it. But you said Joe was my first podcast. Joe Rogan. If I got invited to do Joe Rogan, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what I would do. Like I thought about that.
Well,
the other
luckily
day.
he's really good at podcasts. I had no idea what to do.
I know, but you were just that's your world. Like it's not our world. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like if I got asked to make a burger, or had the opportunity, and I make a good burger,
Oh,
but if
yeah,
I had the
I bet.
opportunity to make one on the roof of Kill Tony, you know, the first I'd have to call you.
Yeah.
Can you help me? You know what I mean? Like it's the opposite thing.
Or you can just be like, I got a random text from him one morning being like, hey, dude, we're overdue. You down to do the pod? ? And I was like, holy shit. Yes. He's like, cool. Here's the date and time. Does that work for you? Yes. And that was it. And I didn't.
I love that he does it himself.
Yeah, but that is the thing. Like the plan, be big,
It was
build a
never-
community.
yeah.
But like those moments, we've had so many of those moments, and it's like I can't put that in a book.
You can't.
And
There's
I
no-
could and sell it to you, and that'd be a grift because there's so many for every plan and intentionality and hard work and showing up and lifting the weight, or calling God and going in the studio religiously, and all the work that we do. We need all of those moments more than anything we do, and without those weird universe moments, nobody's anywhere. Nobody.
100%.
And I think you have to be like ready to grab those moments
Yeah.
when
Yes.
they come. You know what I mean?
Big.
Like take the opportunities, take the risk, and see where it takes you.
Yep.
Universe.
Like
Agreed.
I had zero, like the first time that I reached out to you, I'm like, yo, you're in Texas, come check out my restaurant. There was no part of me that was like, but I'm going to get this dude to start a business.
I'm
with
courting
me.
him as my new
like,
partner.
no, it's like, oh, I like what you do, and I bet you like what I do. Come have dinner.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then just naturally, and that's the thing about it is like, when you get a call to be on the podcast and you've never done a podcast before and you don't even know how to talk, and it's like you're afraid, but you go, fuck it.
Gotta go.
Just go and do it, and however it's supposed to turn out is the way that it will turn
I think
out.
the bigger point I was trying to make was like, if you had been on 47 podcasts before, that text would have been a different text. You know what I'm saying? It's like it would have been, yeah. I mean, I've been doing the rounds. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole thing.
I don't know. I still think if you get a text from Joe inviting you on that
That's true.
podcast, it's still like, holy shit, I'm
Yeah,
going on the
that's
biggest
true.
stage in the world.
Yeah.
But I think it was a little bit lost on me because like we'd been friends for a couple of years at that point. But like when I first met him, I didn't know he had a podcast. And so when we became friends, I knew him as the dude from Fear Factor,
Yeah,
which
okay.
I grew up and I loved. But
Sure.
I didn't know he was the most influential person in the world. And so I wasn't afraid to.
He was the guy getting
to-
people to drink bull semen to you.
Yeah. Which is awesome, but I wasn't like scared to talk to him because knowing he's the most powerful guy around,
Yeah.
you know, which I think is somewhat led to our creating a relationship.
Yeah, when it's natural.
Yeah,
Like that's the thing. Do you remember what's that shitty restaurant with all the plants? Rainforest Cafe.
I was.
Oh God.
Do you
Yeah.
remember getting taken out to Rainforest Cafe by some guy
That place sucks,
with a
no offense.
slick back hair?
That was like
Not
my
my
dream as
he
my
he
birthday
runs a
when I was
major
a
label,
kid.
Uh-huh.
and we have semi blown up. And
Oh, I do.
he's like, he sits down, and he's doing all the things. Starts using the M word. We're talking $1 million deal here, guys. Million. And we're just like, yep. And he's going, and we broke this, and we broke this. I'm like, that is so sick. And I said, so what happened to Recover? Because that was a band that I followed
Yeah,
that he
It was on that label. Yeah.
signed,
and
And
after
did-
Senate Pa should have been like, it should have been the
And
biggest fucking band.
did fuck all with.
Yeah.
And he goes, I wish you wouldn't have asked me that. And I was like, what's your favorite song off our new album? All of them. Didn't know shit. And it's like, you smell it.
he was
You
a
can
used car
smell
salesman.
it. I was like, ta-ta.
Yeah,
I'll have another round because he's paying for it, and I'm not signing anything with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And like that thing, like the natural thing, I think is more important than having a plan. He fit a plan if I had a plan. He was the next step, but he was not like you could feel it.
He
And I was
wasn't
like,
the right
no,
one.
sir.
Yeah.
Nope. I'd rather be broke than be a millionaire with you.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's something to the idea of like destiny. We were talking with Duncan Trussell about this because he doesn't believe in destiny at all.
At all?
At all.
Duncan doesn't.
No.
Just
He was-
what? Free will and might and muscle?
If I tried to explain his philosophy, we'd need 4 more hours.
Yeah.
But what I explained to him was I was like, well, let me phrase destiny in a specific way for you, and I think maybe he, accepted the idea a little bit. But so like, the idea of everything being preordained, I don't necessarily agree with. I think
Also
that,
agree.
I think
Same.
that I think that life is like the ocean, and there's waves. And you can either choose to catch a wave and you can ride it until you fall off, but there's another wave coming. So, for example, you could have signed that. It's not that you were never supposed to sign that deal. You could have signed that deal. That would have been another wave and just a different branch on how things could have gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you think like, oh, I was put on Earth to do this, maybe, but I think you could have been put on Earth to do.
Anything else?
And back to the RPG, you can choose to be a paladin or a warrior or
Yeah.
or an archer or whatever, and you can also change up your gameplay throughout. You know what I mean? But whichever every route you take, it just gets you closer and closer to one of the possible outcomes that is preordained. There's just lots of possible different outcomes.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, we grew up with just permanence baked into everything. If you get the job, it's because God knew you were going to get the job 2 billion years ago. He knows every hair on your head. There's one person that he has selected for you to be with forever. She's not for anyone else. That's not true. My wife could be happily married with 3 children with any other man but me. We chose each other, and we will never not choose each other. But I don't think, oh, God made this girl named Elizabeth for a guy named Tim, and that's the whole point of our existence, and it's already written. Like, that's not true.
Yeah.
It can't be true because that's not even magical. It's like you didn't fall in love with me. You had to. You were pre-programmed. You're just a bot at this point. You know what I mean? Like the magic is he quit. We've broken up twice. We have tried to end this intentionally or just naturally.
And you
And
can't.
here I sit, and I'm like, but literally, what is that?
Yeah.
So why did you quit?
You know, I think I've been asked this a bunch, and I'm gonna give you the real answer.
Hell yeah.
For so many years, I would say this. At the time, I was like, "It's because God wants me to do something else," and then I backpedaled it to a mental health thing, health anxiety. I got to get myself straight, figured out. But I think the long and short of it was I disagreed with him, and I wanted things my own way.
Yeah.
Musically, creatively, religiously. What do you mean?
Musically and creatively, which is it's now shrunken the pot to be not as sexy of a reason to quit a band. But I think that he wanted to go one way and I wanted to go another way.
Or you couldn't meet in the middle.
Yeah, we couldn't meet in the middle. Well, we easily could have.
Yeah.
But I don't think
that could have been one of our million
Yeah.
predestined paths.
Yeah,
we chose this one.
I think that the easy thing, and now I disagree with him musically as much as I did then. But now I understand the converging paths and like, oh, I disagree with you musically because it just challenges me here, or
Yeah.
it pushes a button here for me.
There's just a,
Essentially, the sound of Underoath is a disagreement, in my opinion, because it's so many different influences and different ideals and different ways and walks of life coming together to make you 42 minutes, and it's awful and hard to make. And I wasn't willing to do that work anymore at the time. I would just, and more ideally, I think music is. You said something a little while ago. You show up in the studio and you do it. And I am a songwriter in Nashville, and I work on I worked on a Jelly song. I work on all this stuff, and you show up and there's a anybody got a title, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's the show up thing.
Yeah.
But Underoath to me is more. I see it as like an ideal, like this makes me feel this way, and I don't understand this thing, so I'm gonna write. I don't even know if this makes sense. So I'm gonna write something that makes me try to understand this thing that I don't understand, and I don't agree with you on that ideal, but we have to try to agree on the ideal.
yeah.
Tim will write something that is so unstructured and essentially just a run-on sentence. And that stresses me the fuck out. Like, I see music as like, it must have an appetizer and then more acidic flavor.
Yeah.
And then now I need richness. And I'm going to end with the uni because that's the last thing I want in my mouth. To quote you.
Yeah.
Tim will go, I think I'm just going to eat the whole entree right now. Are there any fries left? I'll have 2. I don't do sweets. And you're like, you just fucked the whole thing. But there's such a beauty in that I wasn't able to accept at the time and learn how to integrate with. And that's the long answer.
That's growth,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And now I see it. Now I see the beauty in it. And it's gotten easier.
Yeah.
But it still isn't easy.
But it requires you sometimes. Like Margaret and I broke up before we got engaged. We were broken up for like 6 months, and I bought a ring and moved back home and proposed to her. And I feel like had we not broken up, we probably never would have made it or gotten married.
Same.
And
I broke up with my wife twice.
yeah, I do think that like sometimes you're just not ready, or you're not mature enough, or you have to experience the world without your partner long enough to say, okay, I've done it with them, I've done it without them. Both of them are painful, but this one has more light involved with it, and this is the one that I need to do.
Yeah. And I think growing up Christian, for me at least, like, you think it's pre-written and you're going to know it. And once you find that person, it just all locks in and it's perfect. And that's why I freaked out. I'm like, oh, then it just can't, this isn't working because of what? Like, any dumb thing. I quit dating Elizabeth the same way he quit making music with me.
Yeah.
Like, in hindsight, those feelings are still there. Do we still argue? Yes. We now have new tools to kind of unravel and sift through that. And I think it's really, and it does make it more meaningful. Underoath means more to me now because, in spite, using it the right way, like in spite of all of it, no, without all of that, you don't know what you have. You don't have a reverence.
Yeah.
You don't have that kind of feeling of I've had it, I've lost it, and now I have it again. And having it again is way different than having it for the first time and not knowing what you have.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, it's very easy to be like, to give up when you say, I want it to be this way. I can't understand why no one else wants it this way.
Yes.
But I think that's what makes, like, the thing that I said earlier that I was like, the reason I think I liked your guys' band, there's so many death metal bands that they'd play and I don't really give a shit about. But the fact that you brought Nirvana and you brought Jimmy Eat World and you know what I mean? Like, you put all these different pieces of the puzzle together and that makes amazing music and amazing art. And so I think that's, I'm happy you guys got back together.
It is easier. It is
sure.
easier though to like
just be with a bunch of dudes who want to play the exact same thing.
And there's necessity that like I think Underoath is stylistically built on the back of the necessity, meaning like you said something like a little bit ago about like it wasn't just blast beats. Well, brother, I don't play double bass.
Yeah.
So I don't have that luxury. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't have in many ways the talent.
You never played double bass?
I did a little.
Yes, you did.
I dabbled, but I wasn't good at it. I don't at all. I haven't at all now since 06. But I dabbled, but I was never good enough to be like the guy or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I haven't owned a double bass pedal since 2006
Wow.
now. But he wasn't this virtuosic guitar player and I wasn't the virtuosic drummer, but whatever brand of those things made something that some people call great.
It's so awesome. You guys grew together.
Yeah.
We learned how to do it
Amazing.
together.
I think for me, it was intentional. Like the people that were really good, all the guys with the Full Sail or culinary degrees, just they're not creative.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was like, yo, dude, like when you wrote that riff and you hit the minor seventh on the pentatonic, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, you don't know that you're doing that? I'm like, I know that I'm doing that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I know the thing I'm doing. I don't know what you call it.
They look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like a very long time ago. I will watch tutorials on Pro Tools and Logic. I want to get more proficient in my craft. When it comes to art, it's different for me.
Yeah.
And the dumber I am, the more real stuff's going to come out. Case in point, first song on our new album, Generation No Surrender. He's a chameleon, by the way. He says he likes structure. He came into my studio and he sat down and he goes, I want to write verbatim. I want to write a ripper. I want to give him the dick the whole time. And
Sounds right.
I spoken like a true Christian.
Sorry, Mom. And I said, copy you. 2 hours later, Generation No Surrender, the song that's on our album, first track, was done. Not vocally.
Which, by the
musically.
way, is a banger.
Thank
It really
Thank
is.
you.
And the perfect name for Not a Damn Chance Mindset.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then we made it with our friend, front of house guy JJ, who was engineering at the time. And then we go up to the mountains to make the record with our producer that produced the album, Danon. And he's like, show me all the demos. I just want to wrap my head around it. He got to that one. Every song, notes, like, what if I think I have a new idea, like collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And he just goes, that just sounds like an Underoath song.
Fuck
No
yeah.
notes. Sometimes you don't have to wait 3 years in the shower. Sometimes it just comes out.
Yeah.
I will say I'm
And I love that. But if you wait for that all the time, you do nothing. You have to show up.
Yeah.
You have to hold on to 3-year-old demos.
I mean,
Keep trying.
to
Yeah.
say you can't write something on the spot or I can't come up with a dish is kind of a cop out because yes, we're talented enough to just to do that, but also it feels more organic often to just let it kind of
Yes.
flow. But I will say there's so many bands that whether they come back after 20 years or they're still putting out records, and they may as well have changed their name 4 records ago because they're not playing anything that resembles what they played. But like your guys' new record, it's still under oath. It's obviously progressed and it's continued, but like it's heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like most of if you look at Ceremony,
Oh yeah.
and then like I recently got brought up, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go listen to Ceremony again. Oh, they have a new record, and I click on it, and I was like, I had to check. I'm like, is there a Talking Heads record?
yeah, someone
called
made a
Ceremony?
new iTunes account with the wrong name.
Yeah. That band did a swing for sure.
What's the new record called?
The place after this one.
Yeah, the place after this one.
Yeah.
Also very. It's just
And
from
it
where
is-
It's all
where
of
this
this.
is
Let's
just
go.
sitting around like what is it, where are we going as society, there's a, have you ever heard of the thin place?
No.
I forget what religion or what culture it comes from, but the thin place in said culture is there's humans and then there's God and there's like a Venn diagram. And unlike a Venn diagram that kind of crosses over and you can color something in, they never actually touch. And there's just a really thin place between this and the next one. The place after this one, we don't know what it is. We don't know what's there. But if you can live in that thin place, you get ideas in the shower.
Yeah.
And you realize you should probably marry that girl and go buy her a ring. For real.
Well,
Yeah.
I know you have a heart out. In just a
sorry.
couple. No, it's okay.
Don't be
It's
mad
okay.
at me.
No, we'll do this again sometime.
We have to.
But there's always a, and I feel like the place after this one is actually a good sequitur into the final question. We only ever have one like staged question for our
Podcasts are so strange. When you sit down with people that you respect and you love their craft, you can just go. We could stay
Yeah.
here till
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
No problem.
Easy.
Well, I mean, when we were having dinner the other night, we could have just put microphones there, and that would have been a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept thinking about it that night. It was like, fuck. Did we just ruin
No, because
Thursday?
You're
because
like, let me stop
so
talking.
much of this is not what I thought we were going. And that's the thing is, we come into this with like somewhat of an idea, but like we just let it go
Yeah.
wherever it takes
Riff.
us.
That's important though.
Riff.
But
That's
we
really
bring it
important.
home.
Riff, baby.
But we do bring it home with the place after this one, which is given the opportunity to design, like actually design your world, your universe, like magic lamp on the table, genie comes out.
Andy comes out.
What does
Damn.
your life and your world, this could be separately, this could be as a band, this could be together as brothers. What does your world look like 10 years from now? Where are you? What are you doing? And how, like, you've designed it.
Like weird science. Like
Sure.
straight up plug it in.
Yeah, like I could be the richest guy in the world, and I could control whatever.
Ooh.
I could I could overthrow a government and become the king, or I could just live on a ranch with my kids. Whatever it is for you, and or under oath, and or for each other.
Mine's simple. I think that I wish that I could Men in Black myself. The thing
Yeah,
to
the
where
little light thing.
I was incapable of comparing my art to anyone else's, especially in the music world. That's what I really mean. Is like, I wish I didn't know that all this stuff exists and streams exists and clicks exists, and that this band is bigger than us, even though we took them on tour 5 times. And I wish I could click that out of my mind. And as a writer, that I could just sit down and make music without thinking about what would happen to it. Do you know what I mean? I have this theory. That's why everyone loves bands' first albums, is because they weren't like, we gotta, this did that, so we gotta. I wish I could sit down and those two things are really the same.
Every time it could be your first
Yeah.
album.
Yes, and then I wish that I lived in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of land and a giant weird grill thing with my children, and I made music there.
So sick.
And I played shows with the same people
Yeah.
whenever the fuck I wanted to, but never when I had to. And I just had no concern for money. I don't need, and not to the point where I'm like, I have $100 million over here and 200, like where I didn't even know about any of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You just lived.
Like I had my own cattle. There were deer that we shot twice a year. Don't shoot that when I'm growing his ass. That.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, don't fish in that pond because those are the trout that I want to become huge so I can eat their eggs. That shit. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that, and then that's all one thing to me.
Yeah.
That it's just, that's my wish, that I could make things like it was the first time, every time, and love my wife like it was the first time, every time. You know what I mean? And have unlimited time for my children. Like, and all of that, just on the same place. And then every once in a while, hey man, you guys want to go play some shows? And then not do this. This is the biggest thing. Not look at the fucking ticket counts.
Yeah.
And not look at the budget. And just go play in, like, my favorite place for Underoath is like 1,000 cap room that stinks and it's 100 degrees and you can feel the room going
Yeah.
with the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're gonna go play arenas in a few weeks. We're blessed to do it. I'm excited to do it. But yeah, a little bit of absolution for myself. Just I want a hard reset.
I bet you could do that with mindset. I bet you could, like, obviously you can't forget, but you could learn to let go.
Yeah. And all that to say, I'm so blessed
Yeah.
that I get to worry about things. I don't want to be like, he's little baby's crying because he has to go play for 10,000 people for an hour. What a pussy. That's not what This is for me, and you asked me if there's a genie on the table, so that's where I'm at.
I love it.
Can I just say, yeah? You want me to go?
Or you can do whatever you want.
I probably have like 25 acres in Vermont or Maine.
Too cold. Psycho.
No, because I still have my place in Tampa. We do stuff. It's my dream. My kids are there. We have less screens on in the house, and we have more jobs. Even though we have the money in this theoretical model, even though we have generational wealth, they get up and they get taught to go feed the chickens and cook breakfast and work. And we have morals and friends. And then I have a barn where I do Underoath only when I want to. And I might not talk to Aaron for 5 years because I'm not doing anything until antennas call and aliens say, call your mans. Because I'm working on my hip hop project and Killer Mike's there and LP's there. And Andre 3000 just came through and he put his flute down and actually spit some shit. And I'm on this, and then I'm going to switch, and then I'm going to get Porches and Howdy and all those boys. We're going to make an indie record, and we're never going to tour on it unless we want, because touring is the least fun thing about being in a
We
band.
just said the same thing.
That's why I almost said,
I love it.
like, doing this is more fun to me than playing Stubbs tonight. This is more fun.
We're not playing stuff.
And that's,
yeah.
yeah. But the last time I was here, we were playing a show. Like, I like the creative work, and touring is like almost like another shift sometimes. And we make it so to where it's not. Because as soon as you get on stage, whether you're sick or whatever, stage health kicks in. But like for me, the undiscovered and the antenna space is that. I just want to be somewhere where I can constantly get up and search for signals. And not have to be the 5 o'clock, cold plunge, 5:03, sun salutations, 5:09. People have to do that, and it's good because we're in such chaos all the time that if you don't win the morning, subscribe. Like, if you don't win the morning, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke. That's not a grift. It's real. I don't want to have to do that to be okay.
Yeah.
I just want that. And I want a big farm, probably have my friends make a brewery. Everyone just comes over and just everything's regenerative, and we're just chilling.
Love it.
We all want animals. I think all of us here want animals in land that we can kill our own animals. Why is that a thing with all of our friends?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
I'm
the
doing it.
I know you
it's
are.
the antithesis to what we're raised in. I think there's a lot of grass is greener, and I think if I had $25 million
It's
and
in our
25
ancestry,
acres
too.
and 25 this,
What's that?
It's in our ancestry.
I'd probably be like, I want to be in a cool band.
You're
I wanna
connected
do
to
this. You know what I mean?
Seriously. Yep.
It's plus and minus. We just want what we don't have. And honestly, contentment is where we all really need to live.
Well, with that, thank you guys so much.
Thanks
This
for
was
having
so
us, guys.
sick.
Everybody
you, guys.
should check out your guys' new album, The Place After This one.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for making music. Thank you for being here. And this was great.
Thanks
y'all
for
for
having
what
us
you
and
do.
for your hospitality.
Yeah, thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
Best of luck.
You guys are awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, brother.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. We'll see you next week.